Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another episode of MUT 15. Now we're going to start things off by making some changes to the lineup. Now obviously getting rid of players is never an easy thing, but getting rid of this guy right here, Marshawn Lynch, was definitely a tough choice to make. I said go ahead, put him up on the auction house for 349,000 coins. Now I would recommend that card to anybody. Definitely the best halfback I've used in MUT 15. Now another player we decided to part ways with was flashback Aqib Talib. Now we got to go ahead and we got to replace these players. So Byron Jones, the rookie out of Connecticut who got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, will be replacing Talib. You guys see 6'1", 94 speed, 96 man coverage, 93 zone coverage. He looks pretty good, but I decided to go ahead and look at even more of the stats. 87 catching for a rookie, definitely impressive. When I kept scrolling down, bro, I know you guys see it, 104 jumping. Now the running back we're going to be bringing in is a guy I've wanted to use pretty much all year, and that is Sweetness Walter Payton. 96 speed, 97 trucking, say no more. We're going to go ahead and bring him to TD Nation for just over 220,000 coins. Now we're going to switch gears for a second. This was a tweet back in January. I was asking EA Sports to put, Tim Tebow in the game. Now, I'm not going to say he's the best quarterback in the world. I'm not going to say he deserves to be a starter, but I definitely love Tim Tebow as a person, and I definitely think, he's a hardworking individual, deserves his chance in the NFL, whether it's a backup or whatever. They did it. 24-hour Tim Tebow, 91 speed. I mean, the accuracy, it isn't too great, but 93 strength for a quarterback. You guys see 99 throw power, but check this out. 94 stiff arm and 96 trucking at the quarterback position. I had to go ahead and pick this card up for today's episode. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is going to be a long-term thing, a short-term thing. I can't even promise he's going to start the second game in today's episode, but we will be using Tim Tebow and Walter Payton to start things off. Now, a lot of you guys asked me my playbooks. There it is right there. Panthers offense, Bengals defense. Let's go ahead and jump into week 5 of the regular season. Now, we got a work cut out for us because we have to go undefeated the rest of the way to get a first-round bye, which is something we have done the past 2 years en route to our 2 Super Bowl victories. So we are faced with a 2nd and 13. Tim Tebow really all day to throw. We find Des Bryant. He stays in bounds and is finally tackled at the 26-yard line. So that accuracy so far, it's looking pretty good here on 2nd and 10. Tebow taking a shot deep for Des Bryant, and he comes down with the game's first touchdown. You guys see him throwing up to X on my opponent on 3rd and 12. He's playing as the Raiders, and Steve Young makes a mistake. Eric Berry gets the interception. We're going to go ahead, wait for the block, make an offensive lineman miss, off to the races, and Eric Berry is pushed out of bounds at the 4-yard line. So who's going to go ahead and keep this one? Tim Tebow already in for his 2nd touchdown. We're going to skip ahead. We got about a minute left in the second quarter. We're up 21-7. Oh my gosh, Vontae Davis, how did he not get that interception? Instead, it turns into a huge pickup for my opponent later on 3rd and 11. Really all day to throw. Steve Young, what's he going to do with it? Take a shot. And this one falls incomplete. Byron Jones was there on the coverage. Now, instead of punting, my opponent's going to go for it here on 4th and 11. And Jordy Nelson, what a catch in traffic. I mean, I want to say that card has 99 catch in traffic, so I see how he came down with it. But that could be a difference in today's game. Now here on 1st and 10, Eric Weddle, a guy who's been so impressive through the first 4 weeks of the season, ends up dropping a huge interception. And then the next play, Steve Young finds Percy Harvin. And this game just got a heck of a lot closer. It's going to make things 21-14. And my opponent does get the ball in the second half. And this Steve Young that came out in the second half, it was not the Steve Young in the first half. The one in the first half was human. This Steve Young was like robotic. You guys can see he just passed over 200 yards later on 2nd and 12. Another completion, this time to Antonio Brown. And my opponent is all the way down inside the red zone. 3rd and 10, Steve Young. I get in there with Aaron Donald, and we come up with a huge sack. So my opponent, starting off the 4th quarter, had to go ahead and settle for a field goal. But that is still going to make this just a 4-point game. Now on offense, my opponent was able to get a stop. And here comes that Steve Young, that robotic Steve Young in the second half, just completing pass after pass. Here he is again, finding Antonio Brown, and he is across midfield, but the clock keeps on ticking. We're close to a minute remaining. Steve Young looking right side, another completion to Percy Harvin, and that is good enough for another first down here in 2nd and 4. Steve Young, down he goes. Reggie White got in there, and comes away with a huge sack that's going to make things 3rd and 11. Steve Young goes play action. He's got a man open. And Keenan Allen just put the dagger in our hearts. He takes a 3-point lead, and that would end up being the final score of the game. I mean, props to my opponent. He probably had the best offense I have played this year in MUT, but that's going to cause some problems because now we have to go ahead and win the final 5 games of the season. So I decided to go ahead, bring back Drew Brees, and I threw a pick right to Luke Kuechly, but then he gets popped by Mike Webster, and Walter Payton was there to pick it up. I mean, what a crazy play. So we're just going to go ahead, we're going to forget about the interception, act like it never happened, and give the ball to this man right here, Sweetness. That was Drew Brees in there, but you guys can see I brought back Tim Tebow for the read option, and Walter Payton is going to keep that one for 9 yards. Later on 2nd and 1. Tebow is in there, a quarterback, but we're not running it. We're passing it. We find Antonio Brown. He spins out of 1 tackle and is pushed out of bounds at the 21-yard line. A completion for 15 yards. Later on 3rd and 5. Walter Payton up the middle. Good enough for another 1st down. My opponent brings an all-out blitz, and Vernon Davis is left wide open in the flats. He goes in untouched for the game's 1st touchdown. That was a huge momentum boost. We definitely needed that one. But the thing is, our defense, they did a great job. Got us the ball right back. You guys can see I decided to go ahead and streak Dez Bryant. He is left wide open. Dez Bryant is just having a monster day in this episode. I want to say it's already his 3rd touchdown. So just like that, we already up 2 scores on my opponent. Now he's rocking the Jaguars uniforms. I gotta admit, man, those all-black Jaguar uniforms are looking pretty good. You see Ben Roethlisberger goes down in the sack. 2nd and 14. That is Jameis Winston in the game, and he finds Alshon Jeffrey to move the chains. Again, Jameis Winston has a man open. I want to say that is Percy Harvin. And once again, I mean, can someone please stop Percy Harvin? In the last game, he killed us, and here he is today with another big pickup here on 2nd and 10. He gives it to Jamal Charles. He has absolutely nowhere to go. So on 3rd and 8, Jameis Winston stepping up, looking towards the end zone, but we are there on the coverage. Once again, man, Percy Harvin almost came down with that catch. Now instead of punting, he finds Reggie Wayne on 4th and 8, but Richard Sherman is there to make sure he was not picking up that 1st down. So we take over back on offense. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was Tebow's fault or Vernon Davis here on 2nd and 10. What a mean blitz sent by my opponent. He got there in a hurry, and that's going to set things up on 3rd and 20. So I brought in Drew Brees. Again, one-on-one coverage with Dez Bryant, and Dez Bryant jumps over the cornerback, and he is off to the races. I want to say that's his 4th touchdown in today's episode. This guy is just too much of a beast. We're going to skip ahead now to the 3rd quarter. We're up 22-8 in this one, and all we need is maybe one more score, and I think this game is over. I get a block from Vernon Davis. Antonio Brown gets me one, and Sweetness is off to the races. He gets in for the touchdown, and that would be pretty much the sealer in this one. We go on to win 36-31. Now you guys say, well, that game got pretty close. Don't worry. 2 of his touchdowns came in like the final 30 seconds when it had absolutely no meaning. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let me know if you want to see more Tim Tebow. Let me know what you think of me picking up Walter Payton. And yeah, we got a work cut out for us. We're going to win 4 games in a row to make the playoffs. Thank you guys for so much support. And until next time, I am TD Presents, and I am signing out. Peace.